Unlock your potential with a comprehensive suite of investing tools and expert education with GammaEdge. Start your free 14-day trial today.
I'm just showing the change in the structure of how we're going from, you'll see here, this is left hand, right hand, call dominated planes, just indicated by this net delta dollars here, this is July 25th, and we have July 28th. You start to see those calls start to erode, especially out of the money, kind of I call it the belly of the structure. Starting to see puts start to dominate, and then what is this? I don't know. A couple weeks later, you have the entire complex is now in the money out of the money put dominated, which would be red in Dan's thing. And so he's just saying, here is this. What was the question exactly? In the second exhibit, is this in a transition with no clear trend? Yes, this is kind of a transition zone. This would be where we are. I don't know. This would be like yellow or orange, just kind of indicating that the structure is mixed. Yeah, and that's likely the cumulative tick, could be chopping around, stuff like that. So yeah, to your question, that is what it is.
So he's asking, what do we do in this stage?
Basically, what do you do in this stage? Yeah, I mean, in this stage, for me personally, it goes back to the mosaic approach. There's no kind of clear like domination, I would say, one way or another. So I mean, I personally in this stage, I'm leaning heavily on which direction is the cumulative tick going, and then really transition zone is going to be my guide for each day. Are we above or are we below transition zone? I mean, I know people aren't going to like this answer, but if I'm not comfortable, then I'm just not going to trade that day. But yeah, that's kind of how I think about it. I mean, transition by definition, there's just lack of certainty, lack of clarity. So yeah, what do you think, Paul?
I think that's so. Yeah, I think that's right. So first of all, if you don't know where your edge is, don't trade. I know people don't want to hear that, but that is exactly what you're doing, is nothing. Right? If you don't know what to do, then don't do anything, right? That's the first. When you get like what's on the screen right now, where you still have this remnants of in the money calls below us, that's the green deltas that you see. You have effectively green calls above us, but in the middle, like Taylor said, the belly there, you got speculation, right? You've got people panicking that own out of the money calls just above price. They're abandoning the structure. Think about what that means. This is so important. Our thesis is that this is why I vehemently disagree with the broad assumptions of the entire Gamma universe here, who says that dealers are short calls, or we're short calls and long puts, and the dealer is on the opposite side of that. A stopped clock is right twice a day, right? That statement is true sometimes. You can see right here, the statement is not true. What that means is we're in transition. So if we have come from a call-dominated green-green, left-hand plane, right-hand plane environment, and we are now faced with what's on the screen right now. If you have long positions, I would be thinking about maybe paring them back. That's what Why? Because when you look at this structure, you are seeing day-over-day erosion of the calls, especially above us, which you know there has to be more out of the money calls than there are in the money puts. Why? Out of the money calls have less delta by definition. Therefore, if you start seeing them turn from green to red, there aren't as many, which means people are closing them, which means you should be thinking about what you're doing with your profit. Same thing on the bottom side. If we start seeing red below the yellow line, and notes the same on the web app, that means out of the money puts are now going in. This is significant. This is a signal to you. This is telling you something. This is purely an indication that you have speculation to the downside, and it is of significant size because those are in the money calls below that yellow line, and now you have puts which are now starting to dominate, which means you have more of them than you did when it was green-green. So, to the question, I would say, depending on where you're starting from, and this is why we concentrate on structure, concentrate on daily over day change, and knowing the transition, and knowing where you are, and knowing the yellow line is below that box, by the way, the blue box, low trends. We're starting the day in a position of weakness, of bearishness. So by definition. So all of that said, This is pretty serious, right? This is telling you that, if you're long and you're exposed long and you start seeing those puts go in and calls come out, you need to take action. Now, you can participate to the downside, you can sit on your hands, whatever the case may be. But I wouldn't ride it down. If you see a change in the structure, which is what we do, then I would certainly make a change in your thesis, your portfolio alignment. Hopefully that makes sense. I know I'm saying this strongly tone, but this is the essence of what we're bringing to the table and why it right. So there are nuances, as Taylor said, the X ratio, etc. But the pieces can help you understand. By understanding the structure, the pieces can help you understand where we're going or not going. And then the CT gives you some what's happening.